Now, moving on swiftly to someone else who just really needs to put a cap on his, I don't know, his words of the day, like how many words in a day he speaks. Let's speak about Kabi Wajesus. And I know y'all are like, oh, Kabi Wajesus, who are you? Stop telling us about Kabi. Stop talking about Kabi. But he always just gives us stuff to talk about. That's the problem with Kabi. He just needs to limit how many words you say in a day, and also figure out what you want to put out there. Because I don't understand how this is something he personally recorded and then he proceeded to put out on social media. He wanted us to talk about it. So what are you guys saying? What are you saying? It wasn't a live video. If it was a live video, we understand. You were caught off guard, you know. But he actually recorded this, proceeded to edit it, put a caption and a thumbnail. Y'all, he asked for it. He asked for it. So let's talk about it. Now, apparently, Kabi Wajesus was in front of the camera and he was starting to talk about, you know, it was an episode, as they always shoot an episode, I think every week or every...
They've been off social media for a hot minute.
Yeah, so they've not been posting for quite a while. However, they do post like on a weekly basis, I'm assuming.
Before this, before
this, it was like a weekly, yes. So usually they shoot on a weekly basis, but they've been on hiatus for a while. Now, obviously, I think he decided it's time for us to force the hiatus out and come with a banger, because he went on the camera and said this. He said, look, guys, if you see that I have not posted in a long time, just know it's my wife, Milly. Yeah. You know, Milly is starting not to like this. In fact, I feel like I am forcing her into shooting. Wow. He proceeded to say that if you see that I haven't posted in a while, it's probably Milly's fault, because she either doesn't want to shoot, or we are having problems in our marriage, or she's just not, you know, we've argued and she doesn't want to, we're not talking to each other, and therefore we would shoot for that week. And that's what happens most of the time. And then worst part is Milly Wajesus walks into the studio while he's in the middle of giving us this spiel. And she's just like, babe, honestly, I've just chilled for like a few minutes and this is what you went with? This is what you decide to say?
This is how it started?
This is it.
Even like, I wouldn't want to shoot.
Come on, dude. And honestly, it was just one of those situations where you're like, okay, yeah, I completely empathize with this woman. She has been embarrassed, surely. We're serious, because honestly, at this point, you know what? I will not say much. Let me just proceed to speak about the business that is paying me, which is basically... She then proceeds to go on this vulnerable stance where she basically tells us about her situation. She says that, I'm trying to find it. She said that sometimes she feels overwhelmed and it can be, you know, okay. She said, actually she went on a rant where she actually tried to put us in perspective, where she said, look, at some point or another, we used to share everything. But right now, our lives are so diverse. There are so many projects we're working on. There's so much of the stuff that we're working on that we need to take time away to sort these other things out. We've been shooting and recording and posting for 7 years consistently, but we also need to cater to other things. So oftentimes you'll find that you prioritize other things over shooting and posting on YouTube. She then continued to say that apparently that level of sharing and openness and like giving us everything is also a thing that she's tried to mitigate a little bit more of, simply because sometimes it's a very sensitive issue. They're still working around it. They're still working on it. It's not stuff that she just wants to come and blah, you know, like her husband clearly did. She prefers that they settle the things that they're settling offline, and then they come ahead and tell us what's going on. Or ultimately, before there's any major news, she figures out how they're going to release this information into the world. So ultimately, you find that most times they will not end up posting every day consistently. But for me, it goes back to the way Kabi Wajesus just constantly threw this woman under the bus. Like, constantly and consistently, he will throw this woman under the bus. Not the baby drama, not the time that he was checking out who and talking about who when they were about to go to Seychelles for a holiday. Not every time that you see them online together. It's always just something where it's like he's talking over her and then she's just there quietly agreeing. I'm just like, oh, I don't like it. Maybe it's because I don't consume a lot of their content that I only get these small glimpses of when they have drama. Because it's different if you consistently watch them. You probably know them. You probably know that they have this, you know, banter that they kind of have going on. But for me, as a person who doesn't necessarily consume their data, I only consume their data whenever it's like in my face. There's drama happening, there's a new conversation happening. That's when I see a lot of the Wajesus family. So I don't know, for me, it just feels like, honestly, they need to work on how they present each other online, like just respecting each other to be able to cover each other, because that's all you want. You just want a person who covers you, and it feels like he's never covering her, but she's consistently covering him. It's just not for me, honestly.
True. But I feel like they're really not equally yoked, to be honest. For a Christian couple who preaches about how Christianity is at the forefront of their relationship, it's kind of interesting to see that they don't realize just how different of people they are. Just how there's usually that car,
A disconnect,
a disconnect somewhere. They could be happy. Maybe they curate this type of content and rage
baiting
for us. We do not know, but from outside looking in, we're just like, why would you put that? Why is this the narrative you want us to have about you? You know, there are couples who are successful and their content is good, and we can see that, you know, there's flow there, there's something there. But even if you're shooting content and all of this is just curated for us to talk about, why is that the direction you choose to go with, you know? So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Anyway, on to our next story. You remember when she sat down with her husband, like Derek Jackson and the wife, and defended him? It's giving, you know, it's giving that kind of energy. Anyway.